Hello and welcome to another edition of King Salama Safari's podcast, where we explore some of the world's most exciting, breathtaking safari destinations. In this episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Samuel Mutisya, who is head of wildlife conservation at Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. Samuel will share his insights on why Ol Pejeta is an exceptional location for an unforgettable safari experience, as well as insights into the conservation efforts being done. I apologize in advance for any background noise or sound quality issues that may arise during this conversation with Samuel, as he is calling me long distance all the way from Kenya, so some technical challenges may occur. However, I assure you the insights and information given will be well worth the minor issues. So let's get started. Samuel's on the phone with me right now. Hello, Samuel.
Yeah, wonderful. Good to speak to you again.
Yes, and I remember speaking to you like a year or two ago when I visited Ol Pejeta.
Yes.
And now you're doing it again for me. I appreciate that. If guests want to come to Kenya and they're looking for somewhere great to go, you're not too far from Nairobi. What is so good about Ol Pejeta Conservancy? What makes it special?
Ol Pejeta Conservancy is actually the nearest place to Nairobi by road. Apart from, other than Nairobi National Park. And Ol Pejeta is a renowned conservation organization that works with rural communities to help promote their well-being, as well as also undertake conservation of one of the most iconic species of this part of the world, that is the black rhino. So it's a special place to come to with a variety of accommodation facilities that will suit your traveling purposes. But at the same time, also you will experience some of the most remarkable East African savanna species, ranging from very high density of lions, very high density of other preying game like zebras, pandas, and others. It is a place worth touring, spending time and understanding conservation from every dimension you can think of.
And you have the big five there. So if they come there, they see everything there.
Certainly, you will see the big five, because all the big five are here. We have the buffaloes in great numbers than perhaps anywhere else in Laikipia. We have leopards here, a bit shy, but if you're lucky, you will see one. You will spot one. Cheetahs are here. Lions are here. The rhino will be virtually every other corner. So it's a place you can never regret visiting.
Yeah, and you have the rhino. You have a high density, one of the highest density of rhinos in Kenya or Africa.
So in Ol Pejeta, the black rhino finds its home here on Ol Pejeta, and the population of black rhinos of the eastern subspecies are found here. The largest population, the largest single breeding population is found on Ol Pejeta. So it's a global leader in terms of the eastern black rhino, and it's got also the last two remaining northern white rhinos in the world.
Yes, I met them when I was there. It was amazing.
Yes, so it's an incredible place. It's a place to tour. You can never go wrong.
Yeah, and the species of giraffe you have there are different from the Masai Mara, so it's a totally different experience from going to the Masai Mara.
So the giraffes that we have here are called the reticulated giraffes, and they are unique in the sense that they are found mainly on the northern parts of Kenya, and Ol Pejeta has more than 200, which is a significant population given their rate of decline. So you'll have a variety of species, including giraffe, to see wild on Ol Pejeta.
Fantastic. And you mentioned that you had the last two northern white rhino in the world there. What are the conservation efforts being done for those?
So the northern white rhinos are a unique species in the sense that first they dominated the central parts of Africa. In the years of 1970s, a few were taken and put in zoos in Europe. But in 2009, we had the last four that were known to potentially be able to breed come back to Kenya, and Ol Pejeta in particular. Of course, by that time, we had more than 7 in a number of other places in the world. But over the years, we are down to 2 females So the plan is to recover the subspecies from those two females by harvesting oocytes or eggs in simpler terms, and using using sperm harvested among a few males before they died to create embryos for the use of these embryos in developing newborn northern white rhinos. But it's a process that has already begun. We've been able to pick up oocyte on many occasions. We've been able to develop embryos in a lab environment, and there are now 24 preserved in readiness for implantation in surrogate mothers who should come from the southern white rhino.
So for people coming to Ol Pejeta, there's lots of activities they can participate in, like jogging. Can you go over some of those activities?
Which is around, that covers anywhere between 7 kilometers to 50 and slightly beyond for those who are able. But that is joining them as just part of exercise, and usually is aimed at also raising a bit of awareness and some funds towards that. You can also do lion tracking, and that data that you collect in the process contributes to monitoring our lion population, because it's important to understand the interaction happening between lions and other prey species in the conservancy. You can also do a horse ride. You can actually visit the northern white rhinos and the endangered species both on a horseback. You can also do a night game drive, which involves going out in specific cars for you to experience the nightlife on Ol Pejeta. So you can take a drive that is guided for you to appreciate the nocturnal life on Ol Pejeta. So there's quite a number of activities. You can either visit communities and experience the culture of the communities that surround us. You can also spend a day with the herders, because Ol Pejeta is an integrated land use that does wildlife conservation as well as livestock ranching business, and therefore an opportunity to be out with herders to experience that life can be arranged. You can also go out with the researchers and participate on what we would call in-depth experiences on conservation issues within this part of the world.
You said herders before. You can go out the herders.
Yes, it's possible to do that. To spend half a day or so with them, and be out and see what it feels like to herd livestock in a wildlife dominated region, or in a wildlife dominated conservancy, and the challenges that they face, their life, and the skills that they have to navigate various threats in the wild.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And also, there's a chimpanzee sanctuary at Ol Pejeta.
Yes, there is a chimp sanctuary here on Ol Pejeta. Again, the only place in Kenya you can see chimps in their near natural environment, and this is a space that is amazing, because these are the most or the nearest wildlife species to humankind. We share is it 98.6% of the DNA. So I mean, they are fascinating in their mannerisms, their behavior. We share quite a bit, but yet quite separated.
Can you tell me about any successful conservation stories that's happened coming out of Ol Pejeta?
I think one of the greatest that is very obvious is the recovery of rhinos. About 30 years ago, 20 rhinos were introduced on Ol Pejeta, and with proficient management, we are now at a point where we've attained our carrying capacity. We are at 168. That is significant growth in such a short time. I think that's a powerful thing. We are also part of the wider Laikipia Samburu ecosystem, so we conserve the second highest population of elephants in this ecosystem. We are part of that continuum. We have the highest density of lions here, and we are beginning to see them breeding and spreading north into the sanctuaries that are neighboring us on the north. We are currently working with the government to begin to manage a section of land north of us. And that, of course, can be attributed to the fact that we've succeeded in this part, and we are doing better than them, and so this model can be replicated northwards. We also sustain or rather maintain a very good neighborhood and relationship with the communities around. We provide school bursaries, build schools, health sector contribute to mobile clinic, dispensary support equipment, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, to me that is in a way a very successful conservation arrangement.
It sure is. What advice would you give to individuals who want to make a positive impact on wildlife and conservation, both locally and globally?
So there are two things. One, you can visit us. Once you visit us, whether as a paying client, particularly as a paying client who is spending time here in one of the 8 or so lodges, you contribute financially through the conservancy fees as you get in, as well as bed night levies for every night you spend, which is money that will be utilized properly in conservation of wildlife. But then again, also you can visit our website, which is opejeta.org. And on it, you can interact with our various activities. Among these, there's also portals for donation towards ranger support, supporting the canine unit, which is an anti-poaching unit that helps us maintain security for the rhinos that are really very prone to poaching. So you can donate, you can be part of this initiative. You can also create awareness out there, because all species that are threatened by lack of genuineness among human beings in protection of nature will benefit from people becoming more conscious, more aware, and more protective, and respect nature, because it's our base for survival.
That's true. Thank you. One last thing. How long have you been working up Ol Pejeta, and what made you want to get into this kind of field of work?
I've worked for Pejeta now for nearly almost 2 decades. So 20 years I started as a research assistant, and I went up the ladder with Ol Pejeta allowing me to enhance my skills all the way to postgraduate kind of studies. And so it's the motivation came from the fact that I did school from where I work, and I had begun noticing the sudden decline in species. I mean, a number of wildlife species, I would see them while in primary level schooling outside our compound. And over time, by the time I was finishing, what you would call grade public for thereabout, I couldn't see them, and so I got concerned. And later on, I realized that there is, all these vices: shrinking habitat loss, fragmentation, poaching issues, and I felt that I could make a difference if I pursued that line, and here I am today doing exactly that.
Wow, it's an amazing story. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think man and nature are very intertwined. We depend on nature for our survival.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is, as much as we talk of man interfering with nature, in the current setup, nature needs man for protection, for preservation. So we need each other, and every person who respects nature respects themselves. And so we need to really ensure that this is ingrained in our DNA. Everybody must be ready to watch what we do and be very cautious of the that it has on nature. Issues of climate change, it's becoming quite clear that species survival and our very own survival will depend on what actions we take to mitigate issues of climate change and the impact thereof. So let's pull together, let's work together, let's work towards making this a better place for ourselves, for the wildlife, and for everyone.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you for your time, Samuel. I really appreciate it. It's been great talking to you. And hopefully I'll be able to come again and visit.
Yeah, anytime. Where are you based? You told me you're in what part of?
I'm in New York.
Part of the US?
Yeah, New York, okay. USA, yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Pay a visit, give me a shout.
I will. Well, thank you for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good one.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.